Good evening, everyone. It's Tuesday, May the 7th, 2024. I'm going to call to order this council meeting at 6:30 p.m. We're going to start with a moment of silent reflection. Before we begin our moment of silence, I want to highlight that in Canada, May 6th to 12th is considered Mental Health Week. This is an annual event to celebrate and raise awareness about the importance of mental health. This year's theme is Healing Through Compassion. And with that, please join me in a moment of silent reflection. Thank you. We'll move on to our land acknowledgement. The municipality of Port Hope exists on the lands of the Mississauga Anishinaabeg traditional territory covered by the Williams Treaties. We honor and recognize First Peoples as rights holders and stewards of the lands and waters on which we have the privilege to live, work, and play, including the Ganaraska Forest and River. We pay respects to elders past, present, and emerging. We commit to actions towards truth and reconciliation by recognizing the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples, strengthening ties with First Nation, Métis, and Inuit peoples, especially those who make their home in Port Hope, and learning from Indigenous ways of knowing and being. We do so by recognizing the past and working towards a shared future. Moving on to item 2, are there any disclosures of pecuniary interest? I note that none were received prior to today's meeting. We'll move on to item number 3. We did not have a closed session this evening. Moving on to item 4, announcements, updates, and recognitions. Wildfire Community Preparedness Day. As the Earth's climate changes, wildfires are becoming a growing concern throughout the country. Port Hope Fire and Emergency Services knows that being prepared is more crucial than ever. May 11th, 2024 is Wildfire Community Preparedness Day in Port Hope. This important day is dedicated to increasing awareness and understanding of wildfire protection, helping you learn effective ways to safeguard your property and community. Join us for a community open house at Fire Station 3, 3585 Ganaraska Road on Saturday, May 11th from 12 to 2 p.m. Learn about wildfire protection and how to protect your property and community. This day will include station tours, an inflatable safety house, and free community barbecue. This event offers an excellent opportunity to engage directly with firefighting professionals and acquire essential wildfire prevention knowledge and skills and competencies, enhancing your safety and strengthening our community's resilience against wildfires. Let's learn, prepare, and protect together. So for more details on this event, please visit porthopefire.ca. Second item is Walton Street groundbreaking. Join us at the official groundbreaking ceremony for the Walton Street reconstruction on Wednesday, May 8th, 2024 at 11 a.m. The event will take place on Queen Street near Walton Street closure area. While the Walton Street project is well underway, this event marks the official kickoff of significant improvements and renovations in our community infrastructure. We hope to see many of you there. We dig Walton Street. Moving on to Civic Awards. Last Thursday, the Capitol Theatre was alive with the spirit of celebration and community pride as we held the much anticipated Civic Awards ceremony. It was a memorable night filled with live entertainment and a reception that showcased some of the best local culinary delights. Congratulations to all the nominees and award winners, in particular Jennifer Mercer, our outstanding citizen, and to Owen Cahall, our outstanding youth. And congratulations, in fact, to all of the award recipients. And one final announcement, that is the formal announcement of the Youth Wellness Hub here in Port Hope, serving not only Port Hope but Northumberland County. Last Thursday at 1:30 p.m., we had Ministers Jones, Tibolo, and Piccini come to Port Hope and formally announce the establishment of the Youth Wellness Hub here in Port Hope. On Friday, there was a fundraiser at the same location, at which I'm happy to announce that Cameco presented a check for $500,000 to support the Youth Wellness Hub moving forward. For those of you who have questions about the Youth Wellness Hub, Rebound Child and Services is the lead organization on the Youth Wellness Hub, and they will be in charge of the implementation plan, including laying out all the opportunities for community involvement. And there will be a number of different committees that will be open to the public, and in particular, a youth committee to help shape the hub moving forward. So it's an exciting opportunity for the community, and it'll be exciting to see how it unfolds in the future. We also had a youth event on Saturday to celebrate the opening of the hub, the soft opening of the hub. And I want to thank Councillors Adam and the Deputy Mayor for joining in. We had, I think, probably about 150 youth come in and out for that day. And so it was a really positive first moment in celebration of the hub. Now I'd like to turn it over to the clerk for an update on our by-election.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. I would like to provide an update on the upcoming Ward 2 rural area by-election. So as you all know, this is a paperless election, and eligible voters in Ward 2 can cast their vote electronically using a computer, mobile device, or tablet, or they can also cast their vote by telephone. The voting period begins on June 1st and will end on June 6th at 8 p.m. June 6th is voting day. We will be providing 2 voter assistance centers at the Canton Hub and Fire Station 3 in Ward 2 to assist those voters that do not have access to the internet or are unfamiliar with how to use a computer. In addition, if an elector wishes to vote in person, they can also come to a voter assistance center and cast their ballot there. As I noted before, this is a paperless election, and electors that come to a voter assistance center will be casting their ballots electronically. There will be election officials available at the voter assistance centers to assist any voter that arrives. For the dates and times that voter assistance centers are open, we ask that you please check our website, porthope.ca/by-election. This information can also be obtained through the voter instruction letters that eligible electors in Ward 2 will be receiving next week. You can also call the municipality, or you can email us with any election questions at election@porthope.ca. To check to see if an elector is on the voters list in Ward 2, we ask that you please contact the municipality or go to our municipal website for more information. As I said before, the by-election is for eligible electors in Ward 2, which is in rural area only. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Shrishma, for that very detailed update. Do any council members have any announcements or updates related to municipal business that they would like to add? And I'm going to call on Councillor Adam to give us an update on the tremendously successful cleanup that he led.
Well, thank you. Didn't expect this tonight, but yeah, so last Sunday we organized up a nice big cleanup around town, our spring cleaning that goes well with the Mayor's and County Challenge. So we addressed a lot of different locations here in the municipality. We ended up cleaning up the waterfront trail, the East Beach, which actually had a lot of garbage there, unfortunately, probably about 10 to 12 garbage bags full. The municipality, some of the town workers also worked on a lot of the different areas, worked on Mill Street between the 5 Mill and the fire station. We had the Port Hope Rotary come out, and we went out to the service center on Telephone Road. We got Telephone Road accomplished. We got Hamilton Road. We had some residents that joined in that went out to the rural areas. So we also got Brown Street done. We got County Road 10 up to Canton done. We got Highway 2 up to the Fire Station 2. We also got Toronto Road up by the off ramps, and then we had a very large location. Just off of Barrett Street, there is a trail that goes on the east side of the river there. And unfortunately, we identified a dumping area where some people have been dumping a lot of garbage. So I actually had to call in 2 extra groups to come help us out. There was so much there. So we ended up picking up anywhere between 700 to 1,000 pounds of garbage in that one area. So all in all, it was very successful, and we had a wonderful spring cleaning. Hopefully we don't have to do it quite as much in the future, and it's nice to have a beautiful Port Hope again. Thank you.
Thank you for that update, Adam. And I briefly joined some of the folks at 5 Mill, and the things that were being found were quite incredible. And I do hope that your efforts translate into us winning the county award for the most garbage collected. So thank you for that. So moving on now to item 5, we're moving on to presentations. 5.1, Sarah Clayton, First Vice President, the Royal Canadian Legion, Brigadier General G.H. Ralston, Branch 30, Port Hope, regarding update on community donations, services, and supports. Welcome.
Thank you very much. For those who don't remember our last update a year ago or so, I'm Sarah Clayton, First Vice President of Branch 30 Port Hope, and I'd also like to introduce from our Ladies Auxiliary Executive, Tracy Brown, and our Branch Executive, David Boerichter, the President, Third Vice President, Paul Strybosch, and our Secretary, Carrie Strybosch. Oh, yes. We're part of Canada's largest veteran support and community service organization, and our primary goal is to make a difference in the lives of veterans and their families. But we also serve our communities, and I'll get more into that in a minute. Our most important thing is to ensure the remembrance of those who sacrifice and still serve for our country. And I'll just note that veterans also include the RCMP. Port Hope has over 300 members now, and many more we'd like to welcome. We have 2 executives, one for the branch, one for the Ladies Auxiliary. And the executives of our branch and Ladies Auxiliary provide over 25 steadfast volunteers on behalf of veterans in the community, along with many more proactive members from all walks of life. We were here last year, and I intend to be brief today and provide you an update, but I will take any questions if I've missed anything. We view this as a great opportunity to thank you, the municipality, as well as our generous community, for very humbling donations and assistance during our Poppy campaign, Remembrance Day, and other fundraising celebrations and events. This is also an avenue for us to be transparent and accountable in communicating how donated funds are being used on behalf of veterans and the Port Hope community. The Poppy Trust Fund has strict rules on how the funds can be used on behalf of veterans. It's distinguished from the branch's other accounts. We reported our year-end 2022 last year at $26,092.45, and are happy to report that during the 23 campaign and with other donations, we raised $29,733.53, of which $21,156 was used to help veterans pay for campaign expenses and for our important youth education program. This chart is our audited 2023 year-end summary, and at the end of the year, we report to have $34,670. Now, this summary shows not only the Poppy Fund on the first row, but also goes beyond and demonstrates our various donations and other local accounts, and shows that despite the COVID era in 2020 and 2021, we inject approximately $30,000 to $50,000 per year to benefit veterans from the Poppy Fund and our local Port Hope community from our other funds. For any accountants out there, just note that on the previous page, there was a slightly different total on 2023 Poppy Fund, but that's because the audited statement requires us to report the youth education on a different line. But they do, there's a discrepancy of $415. That is actually the youth education program. I'd like to note that this 5-year total amounts to $192,000 injected into programs that support veterans as well as the Port Hope community. And in terms of veteran support, we have given money to District F Hospital Fund, which has recently given money to hospice services, mostly equipment, including Ed's House. We've also, as we discussed last year, given money, over $11,000 to support homeless veterans. And I believe your worship asked last year how many veterans were on the street. And I believe I sent afterwards a total of 1,600 veterans. Well, last week at the district convention, we heard that there are currently almost 2,000 veterans on the street, including 62 families that are on the street or at risk of being on the street. So those are being supported. And I'll just note that at the District F convention, which includes the legions across Northumberland and a little bit beyond, they've they raised over $290,000 in 2023 in support of veterans. We also support our local Skeena and Navy League Cadet Corps, and in total have provided them with almost $15,000 in the last 5 years. Operation Service Dogs, which is a transition support that helps veterans with PTSD. So the service dogs follow them everywhere and have been scientifically proven to help them transition back into society. We've also given to Camp Maple Leaf, which supports veteran families. And we've given almost $30,000 in the last 5 years to local students in the form of bursaries. And the students would be related to veterans. In our other accounts, we've provided also about $92,000 over the last 5 years. And I'll just give a few examples that I'm sure you're aware of. The Food Bank, Meals on Wheels, Coldest Night of the Year, Community Care, Greenwood Coalition, The Giving Tree, Salvation Army, Cornerstone, to name a few. Sorry. And we're just getting started in 2024. We've already donated $25,000, and we're only 4 months into the year. We're always considering new ways to help our community. And for example, the Ladies Auxiliary plans to sponsor an additional Port Hope High School bursary and has picked up a few extra bingos this year, which will end up being donated. Oh, thank you. Very kind. So basically, we're here to thank you for your partnership, and through you, thank our entire community for their amazing support. We've done several things together, including beautifying the cenotaph, the Port Hope Avenue of Heroes. We do local parade ceremonies and marches. In June, we'll be doing, I believe on June 1st, the Heroes Highway Ride and Rally, and we'll have a color party there as well as a booth. And Decoration Day and ceremony at which we usually give our student bursaries out will also be in June. And then, of course, Remembrance Day ceremony and the purchase of wreaths by our community to honor veterans. And the mayor attending our dinner and also saying a few words. And thank you very much for that. You've also, your staff have also helped us in improving our digital marketing and website. And if you go there, we have a monthly newsletter. So take a look. And if there's an event that we're having that you'd like to attend, please come down. I have a mistake on this slide. The top line should say 2024 Poppy campaign as a next step. But we hope, even if you can't join the Legion, please come down and join us. We've got a brand new renovated hall. We're working on the outside now, and we'd like you to come and enjoy our company. And I believe we also have the cheapest drinks in town if you're so inclined. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much for that wonderful presentation. I will now turn it over and ask whether or not colleagues have any questions or comments. Councillor Mink?
Thank you. Through the chair, I don't have a question, just a comment, just to acknowledge and thank you for what the service you provide to the community and beyond. And in an organization like the Legion, you also have a responsibility to upkeep your clubhouse and the operations and the events on limited financial resources while also giving to the community. So it's just incredible to see how limited resources you have, how far they go. So, thank you for that responsible, operations of your finances, of your activities, of providing that place for people to gather, as well as those wraparound services for the veterans as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Any other comments or questions? Just wanted to echo what Councillor Mink said, and also to say that the dinner I attended was just a very wonderfully warm celebration, and it was just an honor to be part of that evening with you, and hope to be able to join you again in the future.
Thank
So the recommended motion here is that we receive this presentation for information. Can I get a mover and seconder? Moved by Councillor Bink, seconded by Councillor Todd. All in favor? And that is passed unanimously. Thank you. Moving on to our second presentation, 5.2, Mike Bellamy, Katz Media, and Adam Butterworth of AppCon Media regarding community digital displays. I welcome you to the podium.
It's red. Am I on? Okay. It's with great pleasure and gratitude that we offer our thanks for the opportunity to present this evening. My name is Mike Bellamy. I'm representing the company that I work for as Business Development Manager, Katz Media. Additionally, I'm representing the partnership we have formed with AppCon Media of Toronto. AppCon is a company that specializes in creating innovative and impactful outdoor marketing campaigns and has been doing so for 30 years. With me this evening is Adam Butterworth. Adam helped create this niche offering called Community Digital Displays for the small and medium town centers throughout Eastern Ontario. Although the vision was to place these units on Main Street, we understand, because we all have great reverence to our heritage here in Port Hope, that these units will not be placed within the Heritage District. But what about outside of the Heritage District? Before I give the floor to my esteemed colleague and partner, I would like to focus on what I believe is at the heart of this opportunity. We at Katz Media truly believe that this offering is timely for many reasons. Additionally, however, we see this endeavor as one sort of a public-private and academic partnership, which is funded through promotion and advertising revenues, yes, but which means much more to this community as a communications and messaging medium and its ability to make connection. Without further ado, let's look to Adam Butterworth to tell us how CDD, Community Digital Displays, will work to the benefit of our citizens, businesses, organizations, and municipality. Adam.
Thanks, Mike. Apologies, I didn't realize we only had 10 minutes, so I'm going to bounce through this pretty quick. I'm going to bounce through some slides, so if you get a bit seasick, I apologize, but I'm just going to focus on what I think are the key important points here. So I'll start off with, because Mike's given us a bit of an introduction to AppCon, I'm happy to discuss that later. What we've done here is we've taken a proven European concept of small format digital outdoor advertising, and we've really modelled it and rethought it through for the smaller towns and cities in Canada. But we're really looking at eastern and southern and southwestern on the eastern side of Toronto and southwest Ontario as our start point. It's a multi-value business model, and I'll talk a little bit about that. I think it offers value in a number of different areas. It is very focused on the local market, so local businesses and supporting the local community. And it has no cost to the municipality because we will fund all the capital and operating expenses. So in terms of supporting local businesses, I mean, what we've seen from an advertising perspective, and I think most local business owners will recognise this, is that a slow but steady decline in media opportunities with the growth of the internet. So the most recent closure of Metroland for a number of local community newspapers means that for a lot of local businesses now, there aren't that many options left to advertise, and we think this offers a new opportunity for the local businesses. What we've done and how we've modelled this is we'd give 2 spots on a loop of 8 spots to the city, to the municipality, and they can be used for whatever purposes you would like. So effectively treat that as free advertising, free communication messaging, etc., etc. We believe, and I would say this because I've worked in this industry for 34 years now, done well, out-of-home advertising can help create a sense of place and space and vibrancy within a community if done properly and put in the right location. So we believe it certainly offers that. And there are some options in here, although we haven't modelled them in, but we can have the discussions around where we can help with smart city input. So we could put traffic cameras within these units so you can count traffic, count cars, etc., do people counting. You can do anonymous, what they call Wi-Fi sniffing or mobile phone sniffing, so you get an idea of people movement and people numbers. You can't actually, it's totally privacy compliant, but would be able to give you some more smart city input into what's happening in and around downtown Port Hope. So in terms of where we've got to, we located, we've identified 2 locations, one on Mill Street and one on Ontario Street. I'll show on a map in a minute where we those exact locations, and we've mocked in some photographs so you get a better idea of what they look like. As I said, you'd get 2 spots on the loop for whatever purposes you would like, and we would share any net revenue with the municipality. So we've modelled this we've sort of got, if you like, a budget pro forma on this, and we can share 10% of the net revenue each year after year 1 because it's a build year with the municipality. But what we would do is if we overachieve what we think are fairly conservative financial targets, anything above and beyond that, you would get a 30% of that revenue. We would, between ourselves and Cats Media, we would market and sell the remaining 6 spots. It'll either be to local businesses or would be to national brands that are present with local businesses in this market. We would not be looking at doing any advertising for any business that is not, if you like, resident or has bricks and mortar or an operation outside the municipality of Port Hope. In terms of deployment time, these digital units take about 3 months to deliver. We can actually, if approved, we can do all the pre-work, so putting the footings in, running the electricity and all the rest of it, and we can do that as they're being produced. So I'd suggest it take about 4 months from if this was agreed to when we could get them in the ground and get them up and running. In terms of locations, these are the 2. Obviously, you can see there, Mill Street and Ontario Street. I'll give you a couple of just idea of what they would look like. That's the one on Ontario Street, looking west, and that would be double-sided. And here's the one on Mill Street, if you were looking north. So to summarise, really, we sort of got, we'd like to find 2 mutually agreeable locations. We're open to more, but I think probably start with 2 and see how it all goes, both from your perspective and our perspective. We sort of need an 8-year agreement from a financial perspective. These units cost about $60,000 to $65,000 each to go in the ground. So given the finances, we need the 8 years to amortize that capital. We would use year 1 as a ramp-up year, given they'd be new in the ground, and we'd have to market and sell these to the local businesses, so that would take a bit of time. And any of the artwork that you would like, or any of the copy you would like to put on these units, you would provide to Cats Media, and they would and via us we would get that posted and run. To give you an idea of the value on an annual basis, we at a sort of rate card, as we call it in our industry, the 2 spots on the loop on 4 faces, 2 locations would give you $18,000 worth of value, and there's about $2,500 in terms of revenue share on the modelling we've made. If you look that over the course of the contract, that's about $145,000 worth of communication value, and about $18,000 worth of revenue to the city based on our business case. Just thought I'd share with you, I've said they're sort of used in other markets. Here's some, just 3 or 4 examples of cities around the world with sort of varying population sizes where you can find these sort of units. This one's in Berkeley, in California. Should really call it Berkeley, but I've got a North American accent right these days. This is in Croatia, very similar sized municipality to Port Hope, if not slightly smaller. Perpignan in France is obviously a bigger place, and then give you an idea of a much smaller in Portugal. So that's it from Mark and myself. What happens now? Do we get questions, or do I just sit down? Yeah.
Because there's an ask, right?
What's the ask?
So the ask would be, if anybody is wondering, would just be for the council to consider the partnership that we're putting forward, and as to next steps, because there is involvement here. So just wanted to be clear about that. When we filled out the application, it asked for that.
Thank you very much for the very interesting presentation. I'm going to turn it over to my council colleagues for any questions. Councillor Less?
Yeah, a couple questions regarding how long is the display per individual ad live?
It's digital, so we can sort of make it whatever you want. I mean, typically on something like this, it would be 8 seconds for each spot, and you'd have 8 spots on what we call a loop. So you'd have 8-second spots, and then it would start again.
So the way you're going to market it, there's going to be 6 users outside the municipality using 12.5% of the available space.
Yep.
And the municipality at 25%. Okay, so that adds up, believe me, it adds up to 100. Now, if the value to the municipality would be not to flash here in Port Hope. The value would be to have more of a reader board of the headline that civic awards start this week, and leave it on for 20 seconds, whatever. Or be prepared, the dig is coming, and so like that type of messaging. But we'd need more than 8 seconds to
So
make the impact, and we'd want it constantly changing because the message changes.
So a couple of things on that. In terms of changing the message constantly, that's fine. If you provide the content, we can post it. It's digital. We probably need a couple of hours warning to get that done. But if you can provide whatever content you want to run on those screens, that can be done. In terms of exposure time, I think the best way to look at it is how out-of-home advertising works, particularly digital out-of-home advertising. A lot of people's journeys are repetitive, and so they'll take the same routes over days, weeks, etc., etc. So the typical standard time, and this is for commercial advertising purposes, is 8 seconds, and that sort of typically that works. What we could do for you is you could have 2 spots back to back and have it at 16 seconds. That's not a
You
problem.
could
Again,
see
it's
how
digital.
that would work. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the only thing I caution you on the 8 seconds is they've got a big reader board on the 401 now at the en route station, and if you get two messages in as you're driving by, that would be maximum.
Yeah, so the difference here is, given the locations, there's going to be a much larger pedestrian audience versus the pedestrian audience of 0 on the 401, and also traffic slower. So they're not going to see every spot, but they will almost certainly see 3 or 4 on that loop. I would think.
Yeah, just to be clear, the municipality is not one of your lessees.
In terms of,
We have no financial obligation to you.
No.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Councillor Mink.
Thank you. So thank you for the presentation. It's kind of timely because I do have a lot of people asking for this type of communication from the municipal messaging perspective. These two locations that you have found, identified, I just see that some people, a portion of the community, would reject to the locations. You can't please everybody. If there was a large pushback from the community, is there other viable locations that you've identified that would still have your interest of putting them up in this community, or are these two that it's either these two or nothing?
sorry, no, it's not these two or nothing. The way this sort of type of media works, it needs to be around the downtown core. It is more sort of pedestrian focused. It is more slow traffic moving. It is much more around that downtown community. So we would need to find locations. Obviously, we can't get on Main Street despite our best efforts. We would have to, we'd have to mutually agree those, and happy to revisit that and mutually agree them. The other thing I'd say is that these things are digital. We can turn them off. So if one of the worries is light pollution at night, I mean, we can turn these things off at midnight or 11 o'clock in the evening. I mean, most of the traffic and most of the visibility will be between 6:30 in the morning and 11 in the evening. So that's another option.
Can I answer part of that? There are other locations that we've looked at. A lot of the time, ABCON has spent a lot of time looking in the Heritage District itself, and we exhausted that, and that's not happening. But there are the other gateways, notably Ontario Street and 401, or Toronto Road and 401 up in that area as well. That just as we're talking with people, other people say, what about that area? What about that area? So those would be likely viable, but I don't think that you've looked at them yet.
Sorry, so thank you for that. And just two follow-up questions to that. And I know that this is more, I think, a question down the road if these are successful. Our rural community has a lot of challenges getting information, and there's a few intersections just north of town that could potentially be great from my perspective, but I'm not the expert. So somewhere like Dale Road and 28, where there's a lot of traffic, is that from your own research and experience, would an intersection like that be something that would ever be potential? And the second question, could these designs be the aesthetic of them? Could they have a different look to maybe fit into the downtown area a bit, or is it one style and then that's it?
Second question. Yeah, we can look outside. I'd just say from a commercial value point of view, from it, like if I'm just talking about generating advertising revenue, they wouldn't. We would struggle to make. From my experience, we would struggle to make that work. What we could look at potentially is that if down the track you wanted some of these signs in some of the sort of more rural locations, we use the revenue the downtown core generate to fund those other locations, and then we would still look, we'd still try and sell advertising on those locations, and that revenue could then go back in the pot as well. So that might be a solution for the more rural locations. I'm sorry, I've forgotten what the second question was.
Just the general appearance of.
Oh yeah, so I mean, these are the answer is, I mean, as long as it's not too unique, yes. I mean, we can color, we can certainly deal with the way they're designed. Is we can put the municipality's logo on there. They are, I mean, they're a standard unit with a prefabricated casing, so we could work with that. I'm not promising everything, but yeah, there is some flexibility.
I have a question. I know that you talked about the locations that you've identified, but I wonder, you showed a number of examples towards the end of your presentation of some units in North America and Europe. Do you have any of your product in old city centers in Europe?
Abcon doesn't know. This type of product does exist in old city centres in Europe. We had a longer deck, and I can forward that on through Mike. But we're just based in Canada, so we don't personally. But if you're saying in older city centres in Europe, do these type of advertising units exist? The answer is yes.
Thank you. Councillor Less.
Just to expand on the rural placement, if we contributed all the potential revenue the municipality is going to make downtown, plus the revenue we would make as part of the deal up there into the thing, then you wouldn't have as big a hurdle to face to try and fill the other advertising spots. Because we would probably be at 37.5%, maybe even 50% by that stage. We'd run.
We'd have to run the numbers, but yeah, I mean, I think that would be the solution. There would be to use the revenue that we would have given the municipality as part of this agreement to help fund extra units for the benefit of the community.
Thank you. Those are, I think, some great questions and great discussion. I think it's a good time now to pass it over to Councillor Todd because, well, first of all, thank you again for the presentation, but I believe that Councillor Todd would like to put forward a specific motion on the table.
Yeah, thanks very much. I would like to change the motion that we have, and for context for council is a version of this presentation was brought forward to the HBIA, and so the board has seen it. In that discussion, there was interest, and they did feel as though there would be interest from membership in advertising through something like this in order to help the businesses. So with that in mind, what I would like to propose is that the recommended action be that the presentation by Mike Bellamy, Katz Media, and Adam Butterworth of Abcon Media regarding community digital displays be received. Oh, sorry, I'm not the next one. Sorry. Regarding community vision be referred to staff for further review and report back.
Thank you, Councillor Todd. Do we have a seconder on that? Seconded by the Deputy Mayor. Any further discussion? Councillor Adam.
Yeah, I just want to double check. You said that these were both outside of the heritage area. Is that correct? We have businesses within the HBIA, which was within the heritage business area that are on both sides of them. Cafe La Viva's, as well as the Olympus Burger and Frosted Flower. Is that not true? So would that not put them inside?
So we went with a map that defines the physical.
Yeah,
That's
the,
interesting because I haven't
County.
considered that. Is that
anything north of the bridge is not in the heritage area. Is that right, Brian?
Thanks, Councillor. I'd have to review to our map. I think the HBIA is a business improvement area, and our designated Part 5 area under the Heritage Act are not synonymous. So that's the sort of thing staff would be looking into should this be referred back to us.
Any other further questions or comments? Okay, I'm going to put it to a vote. All in favor? And that is passed unanimously. Thank you very much for the presentation.
Thank you.
And moving on to presentation 5.3, John Dorian and Jenna Braun, Port Hope Rainbow Network regarding what has been accomplished in the area of equity, diversity, and inclusion. Welcome to the podium.
Push the button. Oh, it's already on. Okay. Thank you for the opportunity to speak with you and the residents of Port Hope tonight. My name is John Dorian, 59 Plain Street. I think we're supposed to identify where we're from. And with me this evening is Jenna Braun. Jen will be making some comments after a video presentation. We are members of the Port Hope Rainbow Network, a not-for-profit community group which provides support, a community network and advocacy for the 2S LGBTQ plus residents of Port Hope. We wish to take this opportunity to thank the municipality and the community for its support in helping us move forward towards equity and inclusion in the Port Hope community. Tonight, through our comments, video you're going to see, and music, we're going to liven it up just a little bit. We wish to provide the council and the community with an update on the progress that has been realized in recent years in moving towards realizing the goal in our mission statement. And our mission statement can be found on our website. We'll also provide council and the community with an update on our plans for the coming year, 2024. We're going to show you a film that we've titled Hand in Hand. And it's taken from a musical score, Nothing's Going to Stop Us Now. A copy of the lyrics were distributed to you prior to the meeting. It's not meant to be a sing-along, but the lyrics are actually a metaphor for, in many senses, what we're all about. Hand in Hand represents the strength in our unity in our community. This song is picked, as I mentioned, because it's a very compelling metaphor for who we are. Also, each of you have been given a progressive rainbow flag lapel pin, like this one, a brochure explaining our group and its mission, and a progressive flag decal, all for you to use as you wish. All these are symbols to us of safety, welcoming, and pride. For the people who will be watching this this evening online, you'll hear the music, but due to technical reasons, we'll not be able to see the video. The video is 6 minutes in length, so if someone's watching online, they can go grab a coffee if they're not interested in listening to the tune, but it's kind of a toe-tapping kind of tune as well, and somewhat entertaining. And after tonight, the video will actually be available on various social media sites common in the community. And that is all I have to say. And I guess I cue the video.
Looking in your eyes, I see a paradise. This world that I found is too good to be true. Standing here beside you, want so much to give you this love in my heart that I'm feeling for you.
Let them say we're crazy. I don't care about that. Put your hand in my hand, baby. Don't ever look back. Let the world around us just fall apart. Baby, we can make it if we're heart to heart. And we can build this dream together, standing strong forever. Nothing's gonna stop us now. And if this world runs out of lovers, we'll still have each other. Nothing's gonna stop us. Nothing's gonna stop us now.
found you. I'm not gonna lose you. Whatever it takes, I will stay here with you. Take it to the good times, see it through the bad times. Whatever it takes is what I'm gonna do.
Let them say we're crazy. What do they know? Put your arms around me, baby. Don't ever let go. Let the world around us just fall apart. Baby, we can make it if we're heart to heart. And we can build this dream together, standing strong forever. Nothing's gonna stop us now. And if this world runs out of lovers, we'll still have each other. Nothing's gonna stop us. Nothing's gonna stop us. Ooh, all that I need is you. All that I ever need. All that I want to do is hold you forever, forever and together, standing strong forever. Nothing's gonna stop us now. And if this world runs out of lovers, we'll still have each other. Nothing's gonna stop us. Nothing's gonna stop
Oh, there we go. I'm not as tall as John. We hope you enjoyed our video as much as we enjoyed being present at this council meeting and sharing it with you. Coming up this year, we are excited to inform you that June will be filled with small town pride. We'll begin with a flag raising ceremony on June 1st, a busy day in Port Hope as we are sharing the day with the Legion's Ride and Rally, which would have been great if they were still here. Darn, I was hoping to like the fist bump. Anyway. We will conclude our June celebrations with our Pride in the Park event on June 16th. This event will feature an array of inclusive and family-friendly entertainment with vendors, activities, and games. It will also feature a multi-faith spiritual gathering and informative question and answer sessions in collaboration with the Port Hope Library and the Cameco Capital Arts Theater. Between the 1st and 16th, there will be a wide variety of events to celebrate queer and allied folks. Details will be posted on our website and Facebook page. Afterwards, we'll be participating in the Canada Day Parade, Run Salmon Run, and the Remembrance Day community events. Again, thank you for having us join you this evening. We look forward to celebrating with you in June and all year long.
Thank you very much for the presentation and for the video, beautifully put together. Oh, John, did you want to?
No.
Oh, okay. Yes, yes. I was just going to
We share that.
turn it over. I just thought maybe the presentation wasn't quite over. I'd like to open it up for questions and comments. Yes, Councillor Adam.
Thank you. So just a comment. I have been very fortunate to come to most, if not maybe all of your events over the last year and a half, as many as I can at least. And they've, what's that? Yeah, probably, yeah. And they've all been very positive events, and we really appreciate the extremely hard work that you've done for this and keeping it in such a positive manner. So thank you so much.
Councillor Less.
I can express it this way. Great video, great presentation.
Any other comments? Yes, Councillor Mink.
Thank you. So in pattern with my questions, the outreach to the rural community, do you have outreach? Do you have a community out that you can, yeah. So.
Okay. One of the challenges in a lot of small communities is communication. It is really tough to penetrate households, homes, and individuals. And of course, in Port Hope, we have Ward 2, which is a vast rural area. We don't have a newspaper. We really have to depend a lot on social media. And I can tell you that every post that we do in multiple social media areas in Port Hope is copied onto rural Port Hope social media site. And we have, off the top of my head, at least 20 people from Ward 2 who are members of our group. So we're making that penetration. I think the key to understanding how we go about this is in our name. It's a network. And the purpose of the network is to break down that sense of where is everybody? It's a place where you can go and find things of mutual specific interest, plus community-wide events as well. Posts from the municipality on social media put on there too. So we're connecting with the rural area, in particularly Ward 2, and we're very much aware of the need to make that reach.
I'd also like to add, I focus mainly, I shouldn't say mainly, but I have a particular interest in the queer youth within the community. And we're very, very excited with the opportunity Youth Hub is going to give all youth, but specifically queer youth, to network, as John was saying, outside of social media. And with that, I think, what did they call it? Wheel and spokes on the wheel. That'll give them the opportunity to network into all the different areas of the Port Hope and Northumberland. So if council has any suggestions how we could reach the adult population outside of social media, we would definitely welcome that collaboration.
Thank you for that. Any other questions or comments? I look forward to seeing you at the flag raising at the beginning of the month of celebration, and thank you for being here and thank you for sharing this evening. So the recommended motion in front of us this evening is to receive the presentation for information. Would a member of council like to move and second it? Councillor Mink will move it. The Deputy Mayor will second. All in favor? And that is passed unanimously. Thank you very much. Moving on to item number 6, deputations. Tonight we have no deputations, but do remember that deputations can be made at any point on a matter that is on the council agenda. And our community members are always encouraged to actively participate in our democratic process by making deputations. It's a new thing for us here at the council table, but this method does give a chance for everyone to express their opinions, concerns, or suggestions about topics that are on the council's agenda, playing a crucial role in our decision-making for various issues, policies, and projects. So you can register for a deputation up to 1 day before a meeting, and please either contact our clerk or you can visit our municipal website to complete the registration details. Moving on to item 7, we have no correspondence this evening. Item number 8, consent agenda, adoption of minutes. Items listed under the consent agenda are considered collectively as one motion. Council members may request that specific items be removed for separate discussion, deliberation, and action. The consent items are listed on the agenda. Would any member of council like to remove any of the items for separate discussion? Seeing none, I would like a mover and seconder to adopt the minutes as listed. Moved by Councillor Todd, seconded by Councillor Less. All in favor? That is passed unanimously. Moving on to item 9, consent agenda advisory committee and board meetings. Does anyone have anything that they would like to add before we vote on this item? Seeing none, can I get a mover and seconder to receive this item for information? Deputy Mayor moved it, seconded by Councillor Mink. All in favor? And that is passed unanimously. Moving on to item number 10, committee reports and recommendations. I'm not going to ask the authors to introduce these reports. They've already done so at our committee of the whole meeting. This is an opportunity only for council members to provide further feedback on each item prior to voting. Item 10.1, is there anything anyone would like to add? Any further comments? Seeing none, can I get a mover and seconder? Moved by Councillor Less, seconded by Councillor Todd. All in favor? That is passed unanimously. We go through this so quickly, I have to change pages. Okay, 10.2, motion from Committee of the Whole meeting, April 23rd, 2024, regarding report PD 1224, reactive transportation support for Walton Street reconstruction. Is there anything anybody would like to add? Okay, can I get a mover and seconder? Moved by Councillor Todd, seconded by the Deputy Mayor. All in favor? And that is passed unanimously. Moving on to item 10.3, motion from Committee of the Whole meeting, April 23rd, 2024, regarding report PD 1324, municipal responsibility agreements for communal policing, communal servicing in rural Port Hope. I'll say that again, for communal servicing in rural Port Hope. Is there anything anyone that would like to add to this before we take a vote? And can I get a mover and seconder? Moved by Councillor Adams, seconded by Councillor Mink. All in favor? And that is passed unanimously. Moving on to item 10.4, motion from Committee of the Whole meeting, April 23rd, 2024, regarding report PRC 0624, Port Hope Santa Claus Parade event report. Is there anything further anyone would like to add before we vote on the matter? Seeing none, can I get a mover and seconder? Moved by Councillor Adams, seconded by Councillor Less. All in favor? And that is passed unanimously. Item 10.5, motion from Committee of the Whole meeting, April 23rd, 2024, regarding report WE 0524 re 2023 drinking water quality management system review. Is there anything further anybody would like to add before we take the vote? Seeing none, can I get a mover and seconder? Moved by Councillor Less, seconded by Councillor Todd. All in favor? And that item is passed unanimously. Moving on to item 11, notice of motions. We have none. Moving on to item 12, bylaws, consent agenda. Bylaws are passed by consent agenda. Would anyone like to remove a bylaw for separate consideration and discussion? Seeing none, can I get a mover and a seconder on that? Moved by Councillor Less, seconded by Councillor Adam. All in favor? Passed unanimously. Moving on to item 13, confirmatory bylaw. It's now time for the confirmatory bylaw. This bylaw confirms the proceedings that took place this evening and provides for formal adoption through bylaw. Can I get a mover and seconder? Moved by Councillor Adams, seconded by Councillor Mink. All in favor? And that is passed unanimously. This concludes our business to be covered on today's agenda. We have reached the end of our agenda, and I'm in a position to adjourn the meeting at 7:35 p.m. Thank you very much for your presence this evening.